life where, for some reason, unprompted, somebody decided to just say something that really kind of wrecked your day. And so I've been around a while. I'm 30 and, knock on wood, I'll be able to live for a while longer. I got my stupid hyperhidrosis now freaking me out and all that, but think back. And I'm sure that when you think back just to your past, there'll be certain phrases or things that people said, specific things that just stick out to you. Now, in the past, I myself have definitely had some things like this. So, I think I mentioned it before, but I didn't have, the most traditional childhood. When I grew up, so my mom was gone from an early age. Then my dad met a nice woman. They got married, I think, all the way back in 2002 or 2003. I remember because that Jeepers Creepers 2 came out, and I remember the bus thing scared me. But, so this is way, way back in the day. I remember the wedding and all that. Everything was good. They painted the house purple with stucco walls, which was a choice. But overall, okay then. Overall, pretty good. Life was normal. Things went along decently, and even though I didn't have my actual mother, this person was strong enough to come in and say, well, you know what, I love your dad, and so I'm gonna stay with him. I'll treat you like you're my son. So, eventually, I had some siblings. I had a half-brother, same dad, different mom, and a half-sister, same dad, different mom. Like I said, for a few years, maybe 10 years or so, things went good. Over time, what I didn't notice was the fact that my stepmom seemed to have been dealing with some severe depression. Now, she was a stay-at-home mom. She had tried to find work, but at that point in time, she would have probably been in her early 20s, maybe 21, 22. When you're a kid, someone who's that age, you think, wow, they're so old, but once you get older, you realize they really weren't that old at all. Like a 21, 22-year-old, that's nothing, really, because they were born mid-70s, so early 2000s, yeah, I would say that tracks. But really not old at all, and think about it. If you're watching and you're in your mid-20s or 30, like me, can you imagine how young that is to have a family and to devote your time to taking care of them? My parents were only 8, my bio parents were only 18 when I was born. I can't imagine having a kid when I was that young. I don't know how I'd be able to balance both those things, career and a family. But my stepmom would spend more and more time in bed. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but apparently she'd been dealing with some severe depression. Now, my dad, at some point, moves in a friend of the family, and this was one of my stepmom's friends. And eventually, my stepmom, who I love and who I view as my mother by this point, is kicked out of the house. And this new woman, who I don't like, who insists that I respect her old, I don't know, hillbilly mom, for some reason, and screams at me, she moves in. So now, I've been displaced twice from a mother figure, and my siblings now have a screwed up childhood, thanks to my dad. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with stuff that was hurtful? It was at this point in time that I believe I had just entered ninth grade. And ninth grade is when a lot of hurtful stuff was said to me. So, let me take you back to maybe 2010, or maybe it was even 2009. My first girlfriend. We dated for a while. It was, well, as good as a teenage relationship can be. And for anyone watching, if you're in high school right now, kind of dial back how seriously you take a high school relationship. Because I know that there's things like high school sweethearts who get married, but that's really a minority. Like, it doesn't happen very often. But anyways, back to that time period. So back then, Facebook, while it's a big thing now, I feel like it was even bigger then. And I know that might not make sense because way more people are on it now, but everybody was on Facebook back then. And back then it was a big deal to make a relationship what they call Facebook official. So I had made the relationship with her Facebook official, right? And of course, as, I don't know, people tend to do, they were all talking about it, and I don't understand that. Like, it's not I understand it's made on the Facebook profile, but it's like, do you not have anything better to do in your time than sit here and trash somebody's relationship who has nothing to do with you? And this is one of the things I remember. So this guy, who I never talked to him, was sitting next to another guy who I talked to occasionally. He was a nice guy, but this other guy, he's talking to this dude, and the dude who I know is like, yeah, he has a girlfriend. And this other guy who I never talked to is like, I bet she's a dog. And then the guy I talked to he said, no, she's actually good looking. And it's like, why would you say that? First of all, are you under the assumption that you're not a dog yourself? Like, you're going to sit here and insult this person you don't know. And I'm assuming he was saying that I was ugly. It's like, why are you going around rating the appearance of dudes? How about we talk about that? Like, this was some dude who was like all up. He's like your typical like small town kind of dude. I don't mean like he was like redneck or whatever. I mean, he was just like, oh, I love sports and all this, and there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you get kind of toxic types with that. Not to say that everyone isn't toxic in their own way, but do you get what I mean? He was kind of the macho thing, the jock kind of deal. It's like, do you just go around rating guys? Like, are you like, oh yeah, he's hot. Oh, you know, he's ugly though, he's dating a dog. It's like, and they didn't mean like an actual dog. They were calling my girlfriend ugly at that time. And it's like, dude, how about you focus on getting a girlfriend yourself? But no. He'd rather focus on me. And it's like, thanks, dude. But, and I guess I'll go back. I did mention this in a video. I believe it was a question and answer one, but not a lot of people saw that one, where I just go over a bunch of questions. So basically, when I was really little, for most of my life, I didn't have any friends. I was kind of an outcast. You know, the third wheel kind of thing. So, I wanted to invite people to my birthday party. I think I was turning 6. And I had the whole Spider-Man 1 cake. Or no, wait, yeah. Yes, Spider-Man 1. I remember it came out because we were watching it and I had a Spider-Man cake. And so I made these, like I made them myself, these little birthday cards, homemade ones, printed off, and they were really nice. And I handed one. I was trying to be like nice to everyone. I handed one to this person, and he takes it and he rips it up in my face. And it's like, what's the matter with you? Like, you have to wonder was this guy's parents doing to him? I don't know. He's still around. I don't talk to him, obviously. But, like, I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I guess some people just have worse childhoods than me. I don't know. I don't know what his deal was. Anyways, back to moving forward. So like I said, back then, Facebook was like a good way to make friends. And back in those days, well, I tried to make friends in those days. Cared about it, like just stuff to do, right? I was like, I think this was after I graduated. I was probably 18. So I met this one random woman on Facebook. I don't even remember how. She was a little bit older than me, I think. And we were hanging out. I went over to go visit her. We watched like a TV show or something. I'm kind of quiet. Like, I don't really talk much. Or at least I'm kind of quiet in public situations. A little bit introverted, I guess you could say. And so we were going to a party that was I did have a couple friends back then. We went to a party. Well, it was more of a little get together, and one of my other friends was there. And this woman who I was interested in at that time, she started making out with this other guy who was there. The dude who was my friend. And so I was pissed off about it, and then she calls me the dumbest person she's ever met. And it's like, I don't know if it was just because it was a different time or this person was like not educated or what, but just because somebody's quiet, I don't think necessarily means they're low IQ. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you don't think it's kind of weird that you show interest in one person and then you go to a party and start making out with that person's friend? You don't assume that would have a negative response. I don't understand. But, that was mostly just wasted time. I'll tell you one thing. When you're younger, I guess, don't really worry about relationships too much because it doesn't really usually amount to much. It's just like, I don't know, it's just dumb. But I've had other people say things like I'm the most disappointing person they've ever met. And it's like, why would somebody go out of their way to craft something specifically to go at somebody when they could just say, hey, you know what, I would rather just not hang out or whatever, and, leave it at that. Like, I don't understand the mindset of people deliberately saying hurtful stuff. It's fine to not like somebody, but you have to, like, put thought into saying mean things. I just don't get it. Like, you watching. If you have a coworker you don't like, would you just like kind of avoid them but still be cordial? Or would you, I don't know, say really rude things to them and go at them? It seems like being cordial is the thing you want to do. Having manners, being kind in person, and trying to be kind even when you're not in person. I understand that everyone has different standards to how they want to conduct themselves, but I don't see the point in being overly cruel to somebody like that, And if you're watching this, I'm sure that you've dealt with things like that in the past as well. And that's the negative thing. People can say a million kind things to you, but that one mean thing, that's the thing that'll stick out forever. You won't forget it. Even if you get dementia, you won't forget it. And doesn't that kind of suck? It's like it would be nice if you could remember all the positive things, but it's those negative things that just will not go away. I do not understand why it's like that. And I wish it wasn't that way. It sucks. But from what I've found, all you can do is kind of be optimistic. I don't know if you believe in, like, if you speak negative things, sometimes they'll manifest in reality. I know that's probably just correlation and causation, if that makes sense. Like it's just giving a cause to something that was a coincidence. Though, have you heard of something called synchronicities? Basically, like, if I tell you, this week you will see a black cat, a white rabbit, and a red and green car, and you see it, you think, oh wow, there's something to this. I don't know if there is. I mean, I'm sure there could be, but I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I do believe in the fact that coincidences can be kind of uncomfortable and unusual and eerie. Oh yeah, I guess it is October, so very strange. Good evening. But, no, I try not to spend a lot of time focusing on health worries. Anyone who's got health anxiety will know what I mean. It's hard because you spend so much time focusing on that negative stuff that you don't focus on potential improvements you could make. Like, here's a question for you. Do you ever find yourself kind of binge eating, but out of like a need to do something, or like stress eating? That happens to me, but that prevents me from reaching my goal of getting my weight down to a healthy one so I can do further tests later. And I'm hoping, to be around for at least 10, 20, 30, 40 more decades. I think that's fair. And I want to make these videos for you guys. If one day you're 80 years old watching these, hey, that's fantastic. Awesome. It's just, it is difficult sometimes to balance that, And I guess that goes back to negative thinking, negative thoughts. There is a such thing as toxic positivity, but I would rather a echo chamber of motivation, positivity, people wanting to be there for each other, rather than an echo chamber of depression or negative thinking or catastrophizing or just assuming the worst, thinking the worst, Because, there's only a little bit of time people have on this earth. The max is like 120, I think. Rarely. Most people live to be about 80, 75, 80. Why would you want to have a negative echo chamber around you at all times? And there's times when I'll catch myself slipping up and being negative. But negativity, pessimism, or nihilism, or whatever, it doesn't really benefit you. It's just kind of like a bottomless pit. And I've encountered people who are 50, 60, 70, and they're all about, oh, every man's bad, every woman's bad, these people all do this, these people all do that. Even like family, they're always miserable, always like threatening stuff, like, that kind of stuff. And like, it's like, were you ever happy in your life? And I'm not saying that to come down on you, it's just like, why are you always so negative? And it gets draining. And it's like, well, if you're negative about everything, then you're going to see nothing but negativity. That's all you choose to see or look for. You're like a hawk looking for that negativity, as if it were like a snake in the grass or something. And you swoop down and be negative, and then you tell yourself that, oh, see, I was right. It's not really a way to live, I don't think. And I mean, I'm sure you could be like, oh, well, you're 30 and you're sitting in front of a camera whispering into a microphone. Well, you sweat because you're dealing with some sort of health crap and overweight and all this. And it's like, well, yeah, but I think it's still valid, Yeah, I'm not producing movies in Hollywood, or doing, like, I don't know, game development, or writing best-selling novels, or making music or something, but I believe, doing something that could help benefit some other people, help give them something to listen to, maybe help people's week go by faster, and I think that's worth something. But yeah, thinking personally in terms of future plans, I don't really know what I want to do aside from save money. That's always been an issue. Finances. But it's something that I would like to correct. Do you ever feel like if you don't make a certain amount of money, you can't really reach a point where you can save it? Like, I think that's kind of cost of living, right? So you make a good amount, but it's not enough that you can actually put any away. And see, that's the difficult thing about it. You have to find out what to put away and what to sacrifice for that week. So for example, for me, I'm probably going to sacrifice some ADHD meds for a while until payday. Then I gotta go and like do an overnight sleeping test and all this to see for sleep apnea. Cause I know my dad's got diabetes and sleep apnea. There's the thyroid stuff. What else? Vyvanse and Alexapro. The haunted door. But yeah, it can be stressful. But if you're watching this, next time you find yourself catastrophizing, try and buckle down and see if you can just get through the day, and then another day, and another day. And when it comes to doctor stuff, wait a few days just to be sure that things are getting worse or they might pass. Because I had times when I was really worried, and then I waited, and then stuff just went back to normal. And it was like, oh, okay. Whereas before, I would have immediately gone to the doctor the very first time for everything, and unfortunately, when that happens, people might think that you are just crying wolf about health stuff. Like right now, my shirt soaks through the back, the forehead, and a little bit of the front neck. And I want to say it's been like that since I started Lexapro. Now, if it is just caused by the Lexapro, then whatever, I can deal with it. I find that Lexapro helps me to be more optimistic. I'm sure it's not for everybody because everyone's different, but I think it works well, and I can deal with that. I can take my Lexapro, start getting more in shape, deal with all that, and there you go. Like, I find that as I get older, it's easier to try and focus on the things that really matter. I got a question for you. What things really matter to you in life? That's especially an important question for people who are in their late 20s or early 30s, older than me. What's very important to you? For me, starting a family, helping people, hopefully being financially okay, or at least okay enough to help my children, future children, hopefully, have a better upbringing than I did. And that's not too hard to do when your dad calls you the R word and then slaps you around. So I know I don't have a super high bar to beat, but I'd like to go above and beyond. So I want that as well for my kids, to help them so that they have a good life, so they're a little bit set and they don't have it as difficult. And I think a lot of people want that. It'd be cool if I was able to make a movie or something, or go and work in the Philippines mean, sometimes it really is like that. There'll be a white guy walking around in the background. I don't know. It's a thing, a type of entertainment role. And when it comes to Japan and stuff like that, I have a bit of an ability to read katakana and hiragana. Konnichiwa. 私はマスキさん、カナダ人出身です。And I'm not 学生. I'm not 大学生. Just 会心. I think 会心 is like worker or employee or something. 会心です. Watch it be something wrong. But it's like just like a general term for worker, I believe. I know there's like stuff like salaryman and all that, but yeah. And when it comes to Korean, I wanted to learn Korean, but what gets me is when they start stacking the Hangul, because then you have to like read certain parts, and apparently it was made that way so that it would be easy to learn, but I find it more difficult to learn than kanji and katakana. And a trick for that, I find, is you want to associate each character or like a letter to a sound, so it becomes almost like a puzzle. So if you see this, it's always going to be that. And I know there's like marks, what are they called? See, it's been a while, a few years since I was working out, but there's marks in Japanese that can change what it means. So it'll have like a different sound to it, but it's the same sort of letter, just a different sound. And with Korean, it's like stacked and it's hard to tell, but there's far less letters. Maybe one day I will try that again. It's an interesting language. 반갑습니다. 저는 마스키입니다. I think. After 안녕하세요. So, I mean, a little bit. I used to study Korean while walking on the treadmill and running sometimes, which I did not retain much, but I would like to learn. And there's places I'd like to visit. I want to see the UK. I want to see Japan, Philippines, maybe Hong Kong. I'd like to see South Korea. Maybe Singapore. Maybe Malaysia, stuff like that. I want to see Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, Poland. I know I have some Norwegian ancestry, maybe Norway. Yeah, there's a bunch of places. There's a lot of cool places in the world. But yeah, I know the video's all over the place, but it's a whisper ramble, so that's okay. Anyways, I hope you have a good sleep, and remember, try and remain positive. Really, that's the only thing you can do. And I would say a positive outlook on things will benefit you. It can get you through a lot, you know? And I believe in you. So, I want to wish you a good day, night, or anything in between. Also, I would like to thank Marvin and David for being channel members. Thank you very much. And also thank you for anyone who likes, comments, subscribes, shares the video. I know sometimes people put my videos in playlists, which is awesome. Thank you. And when people hype the videos, I appreciate that too. I guess it's like a new thing where it puts it into like a ranking system or something. It's new. There's a lot of newfangled, confusing stuff, but I just appreciate you all for being there and enjoying the stuff, enjoying the videos I put out, getting something out of them, you know. And I'm wishing you a good October, the hunt for comfy October, and I will see you in the next one, which might be the day after tomorrow. We'll see. I've got some role plays planned. I want to make him a bit more higher end, take some pictures of like locations or something, or get them, and then use the green screen more like I did for my pharmacist role play and for my, what was the other one? It was something.